Imagine you're driving across a small bridge in Indonesia. The rain is pouring harder and harder, and in just a few seconds, the river below turns into a boiling gray-black flow of mud. Thick white steam rises. Visibility drops to almost zero. You no longer know if what's in front of you is the road, or an empty gap waiting to swallow everything into the abyss. This is not a normal flood. This is a Lahar flow from Mount Semeru. And today, it has forced residents in Lumajang to evacuate urgently. In the early hours of December 5th, rain started to fall steadily on the slopes of Mount Semeru ash, and rock from recent eruptions were already covering the volcano's flanks. As the rain continued for hours, water began to seep deep into these loose volcanic layers. What started as small, muddy streams quickly thickened into a lahar flow. Water, ash, sand, rocks, all mixed into something like liquid cement, racing down valleys and following rivers such as Besuk Kobokan and Regoyo. When the Lahar entered the river channels, hot material met cooler river water, and thick white steam and gray smoke billowed up. On some bridges, drivers could see the road one moment, and the next, everything was swallowed by a wall of steam, with no idea what lay ahead. At the same time, Indonesia's meteorology and geology agencies warned that rainfall was light to moderate but long-lasting and focused over the Semeru area. It had reached levels capable of triggering lahar flows, and the rain was expected to continue until midday. Residents were told to stay away from riverbanks and mountain slopes and to follow official updates. In areas like Jugosari and along the Regoyo River, the Lahar overflowed the channel and invaded neighborhoods. Floodwaters of mud rose to the thresholds of homes, with at least 9 houses and 1 small shop inundated, and more than 100 households temporarily cut off. When Lahar deposits blocked the access road into the village, local authorities had to organize urgent evacuations to higher ground, set up observation posts along the riverbanks and bridges, use excavators to clear mud and rock, reopen the road, and bring food and relief supplies into the area. The Lahar remained intense for more than 2 hours before it weakened in the afternoon, but it left a very clear mark behind. Riverbanks were eroded, roads turned to mud, and yards were buried under a thick layer of volcanic sludge, something that does not simply drain away like normal floodwater. It may sound like muddy floodwater, but lahars are far more dangerous than ordinary floods. Normal floods are mostly water with a bit of sediment. Lahars are dense mixtures of water, ash, rock, and debris, more like flowing wet concrete that makes lahars extremely heavy and powerful, strong enough to sweep away bridges, houses, vehicles, and trees. Very fast on steep slopes, people or vehicles can hardly outrun them on narrow mountain roads, able to travel long distances from the volcano's slopes, down river systems, and many kilometers into populated areas, leaving long-lasting damage, thick layers of mud and rock that can harden, burying farmland and homes for a long time. The world has seen some truly catastrophic lahar disasters. In Armero, Colombia, in 1985, a lahar from Nevado del Ruiz buried the town and killed more than 20,000 people. After the 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines, repeated heavy rains triggered lahars for years, keeping villages around the volcano under volcanic mud. The key point in this Semeru event: the lahar was triggered mainly by rainfall, not by a fresh, massive explosion. That means even when a volcano looks quiet, old layers of ash and debris can suddenly come down if heavy rain lasts long enough.
Ini Pak Kalilanang, tambah merajalela. posnya pagi nggak kelihatan. Nggak kelihatan posnya.
There are four main reasons: active volcano with constant supply of loose material. Semeru erupts frequently, constantly adding new layers of lahar fuel on its slopes. Ash, sand, rock fragments, all waiting for the next big rain. Steep topography and river systems shaped like funnels. Rivers such as Besuk, Kobokan, and Regoyo collect almost all water and loose material from the slopes and carry it straight toward the populated areas of Lumajang homes and farms built directly on lahar paths. Volcanic soil is fertile, and living near rivers means easy access to water and construction sand, so people naturally settle there. But these are the exact lahar corridors that past disasters have already identified rainy season with long-lasting heavy rain. Every rainy season, East Java sees multi-hour heavy rainfall events on slopes loaded with ash and debris. That is the perfect natural trigger for lahar flows. When all these factors lined up on December 5th, plenty of ash on the volcano, long-lasting heavy rain, steep slopes, and people living right by the river, a strong lahar flow was almost inevitable.
Ini Pak Kali Lanang tambah merajalela. Posnya pagi nggak kelihatan. Nggak kelihatan posnya.
Munggah nang dhuwur sedetan wis.
From what happened in Lumajang, there are several key lessons, especially for anyone living near a volcano. Lahars don't need a huge, fresh eruption to happen. All it takes is fresh ash and debris on the slopes, plus strong, prolonged rainfall. Never underestimate small rivers at the foot of a volcano. Yesterday, it might have been a clear, calm river. Today, in heavy rain, it can turn into a river of liquid concrete that sweeps everything away. Stay well away from river channels and low bridges during heavy rainfall. Going to a bridge, just to see the lahar up close, is extremely dangerous. Visibility can drop to zero, and the flow can suddenly change direction or rise in seconds. Understand and trust official warnings. Prioritize information from meteorological agencies, volcano and geological services, and disaster management offices. Warnings may come through loudspeakers, text messages, or official social media channels. Most importantly, once you hear a warning, you must act. Prepare a very simple evacuation plan in advance, which route you will take to reach higher ground, where family members will meet if you are separated, what absolute essentials you can grab in under 1 minute. In lahar-prone areas, sometimes just a few minutes can decide the difference between safety and tragedy.
Munggah nang dhuwur sedetan wis.
If you want more analyses like this, less clickbait, more knowledge and practical lessons, then subscribe to Global Weather Disasters. Leave a comment about whether you've experienced floods, lahars, landslides, or powerful storms, and what scares you the most, and suggest topics you want us to analyze in future videos. By understanding extreme weather and natural hazards better, we can't stop storms or volcanoes, but we can reduce the damage and help more people make it safely back home after each rainy season. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and see you in the next episode of Global Weather Disasters.